All right. Well, it is 11:30, so we will go ahead and get started. First of all, I just want to thank our sponsors, American Council on Exercise, Canon Design, Full Circle Padding, NSOF Fusion, Octane Fitness, Play Flooring, Sasaki, True Fitness, and Woodway. So again, thank you for taking the time to be with us today at the conference. Our presenter is Scarlett Ruppert from Oklahoma State University. She's the Employee Wellness Coordinator there. Her topic is providing wellness coaching as a part of a comprehensive wellness program. So if I could have you set your screen name as the name that you registered with, because we will try to send, as we have a short window of time today, we'll try to send any questions, put them in the chat, and we'll try to send those questions to Scarlett so she can respond to you directly and get those questions answered if we don't have time for them. And I will also be posting the session evaluation in the chat at the end of our talk. And with that, I will turn it over to Scarlett.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. As Matt said, my name is Scarlett Ruppert, and I am the Employee Wellness Coordinator at Oklahoma State University. And I also oversee our Employee Wellness Coaching Program. So today I'm going to talk to you about providing wellness coaching as a part of your comprehensive wellness program. First of all, what is wellness coaching? So this is a fairly new up and coming field. So there's not a whole lot of people who have a full grasp of what wellness coaching really is. So just to get started, it is a process in which a health and wellness coach partners with a client that is seeking to enhance their well-being through behavior changes that are aligned with their personal values. So as a coach, we really like to connect what our clients are coming to see us for, what their overall goals are, and we like to connect those to their values. So what they're really valuing, what their why is. And as a coach, you display unconditional positive regard and empathy toward your client, believing in their capacity for change. So believing that they do have the skills that they need to be able to make these behavior changes. A health and wellness coach honors the fact that the client is the expert on their own life and provides them with a respectful and non-judgmental space to explore their needs and desires for change. So I always talk to my clients and I say the word coach sounds very directive. Like when we come together, I'm going to be the one in charge telling you what to do and how to do it. But with wellness coaching, it's really a lot different because in this scenario, a client is the expert in all of the interactions with their coach. The client knows what they want to do and what they're capable of doing to get there. The coach is really just responsible for being their partner, their ally, and kind of walking with them through this change and doing it in a way that makes sense to them. So wellness coaching is a little different because it doesn't just focus on, physical activity, nutrition. The scope of practice for a wellness coach is much more broad and it encompasses all aspects of wellness. For instance, the 8 dimensions of wellness. And it requires that each client be looked at as this whole and complete person with several overlapping values and needs. So for instance, if someone comes to me with wanting to, improve their physical fitness, but they are super stressed out because their financial wellness isn't being taken care of, it's really hard to make other changes when there's something else kind of taking precedent in your life. For an example, so like I have several clients who will come to me and say like, I want to start an exercise program, I want to eat healthier. But I explore with them and I talk to them and I find out that they're a wife and a mother of 3 children, and they're also caring for an elderly parent, and they're doing school part-time and working full-time, but they want to start a fitness program. And so our goals generally start out less fitness focused and more focused on time management and self-care until that client feels like they are actually in a space where they can make changes to their physical behaviors. So this is really what separates wellness coaching from basic educational programming. Most people already know that they need to eat better, they need to exercise, they need to sleep more, they need to practice safe sex practices and things like that, because I also work with students. But it's that follow through that we're not seeing, right? So wellness coaching, I believe, can close that gap between education and action in a way that we can start to see true behavior change in our target populations. So just to give you a little bit of an idea of what the OSU Employee Wellness Coaching Program looks like, right now we're only working with employees. We do not have a student coaching program. But the program started in August of 2019. I actually started my position at OSU in May of 2019, and we had the program up and running in August. Participants register during a registration period, and the registration period is at the beginning of every semester. So we basically coach in cohorts. So I open up at the beginning of August and I coach those clients who signed up during the registration period, and then we open it up again in the spring and in the summer. I use the Acuity scheduling program for clients to register and also to track their client notes. I have the paid version of this program, so it is secure for keeping notes, but it's not totally necessary. So my very first semester back in August of 2019, the program was really small. We were just getting it up and running. So if they were interested in coaching, they would either call me or email me. I set up the session myself, and then I used a secure file to protect their notes. All clients are expected to attend at least 6 sessions. The sessions are 30 to 45 minutes, and they're conducted every other week. So I usually have an A week client list and a B week client list, and it alternates every other week. And then I also run evaluations. So we send out a welcome survey as soon as they register. The welcome survey does kind of explain a little bit more about what wellness coaching is. It includes a coaching agreement, which is like, this is what we expect of you. This is what you can expect from me, which does include that we hope that they will participate in at least 6 sessions. And they're allowed to drop at any point, but it does kind of help with that retention of letting them know upfront, like, hey, we want you here for at least 6 sessions. I send a midpoint survey after the first 3 sessions, assuming that they only want 6. And that's just a way for me to kind of check in with them and give them kind of an open platform to say, like, hey, is everything going well for you? It's a little bit more comfortable for them to give me feedback in that way rather than me asking them directly if something isn't going exactly as they hope. And then the post survey asks some of the same questions that are in the welcome survey so that we can do a pre-post comparison. But then it's also asking things like satisfaction about your coach and satisfaction with the program in general. So what does it take to start a program? So I've told you guys what our program kind of looks like. So I guess I need to tell you, if you wanted to start one, what is it going to take? It does not take as much as you might think. Again, I started my position here in May, and we had the program up and running in August. So that was a pretty quick turnaround, and it's been pretty successful. So the first thing you would want to have is an administrator, someone who's going to handle scheduling, collecting payments, sending surveys, and collecting and analyzing your data. Collecting payments, I put that on here, but it's totally optional. We do not collect payments for our coaching program. It is 100% free to all employees. I've worked at 2 other universities that offer wellness coaching, and they've always been free to the participants. So you can charge for your wellness coaching program if you want to, but you do not have to. And then, of course, you need a coach or coaches. I would love to have more than one coach. Right now, we only have one coach. This past summer, I did have another guy coaching for me, but he was volunteering his time. So once he was done kind of getting the hours he needed, he left us, which is totally understandable. So again, you only need an administrator and a coach, at least one coach. We only have one coach. That is me, and I am also the administrator. So it really doesn't take a whole lot to get a wellness coaching program started, as long as you have someone who can dedicate the time to it. I do have to balance my time between running the coaching program, but also all of my other responsibilities as the employee wellness coordinator. So it's a bit of a balancing act. But as far as the coach, I'm sure you're wondering, like, okay, well, we need a coach, but they probably need to be certified, right? So what about the certification? Yes, your coaches do need to be certified. Luckily, I was already certified, which is another reason why we were able to get the program up and running as quickly as we did. But I'll go over the coaching certifications in case you're wondering. It's a bit convoluted. So there are 2 primary certifications. You have your Certified Health Coach, or your CHC, and you have your National Board Certified Health and Wellness Coach, NBC-HWC. So you can look at the CHC, the Certified Health Coach, as kind of that preliminary certification. And I say that because in order to get your National Board Certified Health and Wellness Coach, you have to get a CHC first. You also have to get a CHC that is on the approved program list from the NBC-HWC. The NBHWC is the National Board for Health and Wellness Coaching, and they're kind of those people that we look to say like, hey, what are the good programs? Which ones should we be doing? There are other CHC programs that are not on the approved program list. Those are maybe not inherently bad, but when you're looking at the ones that are approved by NBHWC, you know that you're getting a high quality program because they go through an extensive process of becoming an approved program. So these programs, they range from semester-long courses as academic credit with a university to 8-week intensive training courses that are not associated with the university, but most of them are a few $1,000s to complete. So that is something to consider. If you get your CHC and you do 50 hours of coaching once you have your certification, then you would qualify to sit on the National Board Certificate exam. That exam is an additional $400. So after you spend a couple thousand on the CHC, it's kind of like, oh, well, you know, what's another 400 to take the national exam? So right now there's actually only a little over 3,000 nationally certified coaches. Again, wellness coaching is a fairly new field, and this national certificate is even newer. The NBHWC is really just getting it off the ground. There's only 2 coaching periods throughout the year, or testing periods throughout the year, that you can get certified. And just so you're aware, while I think the national certification is definitely the way to go, you don't need it. You can practice with just your certified health coach training certificate, and that is perfectly acceptable. So why worry about the national certification, right? I'm sitting here telling you, get the national cert, even though you don't need it. And I will say, even though there's only 3,000 or a little over 3,000 coaches certified right now, it is quickly becoming the gold standard. We can already see there's a lot of companies out there hiring coaches who say, you know, you need to have your certification from an approved program, or they already want you to have your national cert or get it within a certain amount of time of starting there. Personally, if I get to hire coaches for my program in the future, I will require that they have to have an approved program certification or be working toward their national cert, because I know that I can trust the training that they've gotten, because NBHWC tells us this is a really good training. Also, health and wellness coaching is not a protected title. Basically, anyone can call themselves a health and wellness coach, but the groundwork is being laid to get it there. We want this to be a protected title where you have to be nationally certified to be able to put that behind your name. And in fact, we just got recent approval for Category 3 Current Procedural Terminology, or CPT codes. And so that's basically that first step we need in becoming a Category 1 CPT code, which would mean that wellness coaching would be a reimbursable healthcare service. So you could actually bill your insurance for this service. The new codes reflect what research is demonstrating. Coaches have expertise that helps patients step into more active roles in their own care. So this is pretty important to kind of see, like, okay, the insurance companies are recognizing wellness coaching is working. So we want to start tracking it, which is why we have the codes. Research is reflecting that it works for our clients they're making more behavior changes, seeing more positive outcomes. But again, this all comes back to that national certification. Only national certified coaches can use the codes. So getting that national certification would really just be putting you above the race here, getting kind of on the forefront of the rise of this wellness coaching program. Alrighty, so I've talked to you guys about what it takes to start a program, what our program looks like, and why you might want to have your coaches with that top tier certification. But why start a program in the first place? Why would we want wellness coaching as part of our wellness programming? So as I mentioned before, people know what they're supposed to do. They know they're supposed to eat right and exercise and get enough sleep, but simply providing education is not enough. We really, really want to close that gap between education and action. And health and wellness coaching has shown to be far more effective in helping people to make lasting behavior changes. So I'm going to show you guys some of the research that is out there. What does the research tell us? So this first one that I'm looking at is a literature review that was examining 11 different health and wellness coaching interventions. And the outcomes that they looked at for these interventions was weight management or weight loss, blood pressure, reducing blood pressure, and some dietary improvements. And of the 11 wellness coaching interventions, 82% of the trials showed significant improvements in at least one outcome. At least one outcome. So some of them showed improvements in more than one outcome. So that's in weight, blood pressure, and dietary improvements, basic physical wellness things. Another study evaluated 100 participants during a 12-week coaching program. Participants significantly improved in self-reported health behaviors, eating self-efficacy, and goal-setting skills. So just to give you an idea of kind of how awesome this is, some of the self-reported health behaviors was increase in physical activity, their confidence in maintaining that increase, improved nutrition habits and their confidence in maintaining those habits, reduce stress, ability to manage stress. They looked at improved sleep, improved spiritual wellness, overall quality of life, and overall health. So those were those self-reported health behaviors that they studied. The eating self-efficacy looked at their ability to manage their diet under negative emotions, positive emotions, social pressures, and just the availability of food. And then the goal setting skills looked at just the ability to set goals, the ability to stick with their goals even under times of stress, and then solving problems with like changing their goals if they need to based on barriers that they face. So in all of these things that I've mentioned, they have seen significant improvement in this 12-week coaching program. Another study with 177 participants evaluated after a 3-month coaching program showed significant improvement of BMI, motivation, and confidence. So BMI, another one of those physical wellness things, but motivation and confidence, like that's pretty powerful right there, because that's kind of that first step into people making behavior changes, is that motivation to do it, feeling confident that they can follow through. Another study of 276 employees, they were split into a control group and an intervention group. The intervention group received wellness coaching. The intervention groups showed significant improvement in both physical and mental health as compared to the control group. So now we're not only looking at the physical aspects of wellness, but the mental and emotional aspects of wellness here with this study. Another study with over 1,400 undergraduate students participated in academic coaching. Academic coaching does fall under the scope of practice of a wellness coach, and this showed significant GPA increases, and they were more likely to be retained by the university the following semester. So we're seeing student retention from academic coaching. A study including 287 youth in a coaching program to help improve resiliency by learning coping skills and strategies. The resiliency significantly increased from pre to post. And this is awesome because resiliency is identified as a mitigating factor for adverse mental health outcomes. And we know how much adverse mental health outcomes can affect a student going to school, staying in school, doing well in school. So again, this comes back to retention and ability to cope with stress and things like that. So I've shown you guys 6 studies, and this is just the tip of the iceberg for the research that is out there. There is so much promising data that shows that wellness coaching is working, but at the same time, there's not enough data. Is there ever really enough data for those researchers out there? We need more focused research on how coaching affects college students, resiliency, confidence, life satisfaction, quality of life. There's a lot of potential out there, a lot of potential in this field. Which is why I have been collecting data on our program just to kind of see what OSU is doing, how OSU is helping the clients that we are working with. So I'm going to show you guys some of the data that I have been collecting. So OSU Wellness Coaching data, we have right now 112 participants since August of 2019. That does not include the participants that I am currently working with because I don't have all of the data collected from them. Generally 90% staff, 10% faculty, which is pretty typical for an employee wellness program. We have an 83% completion rate, which means the clients are attending at least 4 or more sessions. That would be what completion is. But I am getting an average of 6 sessions per client overall. Some get more, some get less. But 83% is pretty astounding, honestly, because our program is 100% free. If a client doesn't show up for a session, they do not get charged. It's a 12-week program, so they have to stick with it for a while. And there are 0 incentives. We do not give prizes. We don't give completion incentives, nothing like that. So the fact that we're still getting an 83% completion rate is pretty awesome. In our post survey, we asked them, what's your likelihood of seeking coaching again? Because we feel like if they did it once, if they're willing to seek it again, they must have been pretty satisfied with the program. And no one said that they wouldn't. They were slightly, moderately, or extremely likely to seek coaching again in the future. And then we also asked them their likelihood of referring a friend or coworker. And again, no one said they wouldn't. It was either moderately or extremely likely to refer a friend or coworker. So what are we looking for? Like I said previously, we do a pre-survey and a post-survey to kind of evaluate the improvement from pre to post. And so we're looking for their overall rating of well-being. So is their overall well-being improving? We ask them about their confidence as it relates to overall well-being. And there's 6 factors there, 6 different questions that we ask them relating to their confidence. And then we ask them about their stress and worry as it relates to their overall well-being. And there are 4 factors there. So it's very exciting to look at the data because I can see that there are improvements in almost every single factor that we ask about. From pre to post, we see an improvement in some way. Unfortunately, not all of the improvements I'm seeing are statistically significant. It could be because we still have a fairly small sample size, but there are a few factors that are statistically significant, so I'm going to share those with you guys. The first one is that overall rating of well-being. We ask them, in general, would you say your well-being is? And they answer this on a scale at pre and a scale at post. And we're seeing about a 26% increase in overall rating of well-being from pre to post right now. So that I was very, very excited about when we discovered. And then in confidence of maintaining lifestyle changes during times of stress. So we asked them, I am confident I can maintain lifestyle changes even during times of stress. And here we're seeing significant improvement, about a 12.5% increase from pre to post. We all know how important this is. For those of you who maybe are already maintaining some pretty healthy lifestyle changes or lifestyle practices, when we get stressed out, it is hard to maintain those. So the fact that we're seeing an improvement here is very exciting. So I know that the numbers are really important and really exciting, but also I really like to look at qualitative data as well. So I always make sure to add in a few open-ended questions in our surveys. And so we have some pretty exciting quotes that I'm going to share with you guys just based on this question. How has coaching benefited you or changed you the most? So these are the things that I get excited about. I love qualitative data. So this was a wonderful experience about coaching. My coach was very helpful and supportive. My life has changed and it blooms more and brighter daily with possibilities. I don't experience worry or anxiety. I am plugged into many supportive channels of communication that is helpful professionally and personally. I promise you guys I did not write that. This is something that someone put on one of their post surveys, and they don't experience worry or anxiety. They're plugged into supportive channels. So this is really exciting stuff. It helped me develop specific time management and motivation strategies that I would not have thought of on my own. Although there were strategies I suggested, it was the coach's questions and prompts that brought them to mind. So again, this goes back to what I said about the coach is not the expert, the client is the expert. Our clients know what they need to do. It's just up to the coach to kind of bring them out and say, like, why don't we start doing this? Let's set some goals around it. Overall, I think it gave me hope and reminded me that if I reach out for help, I can keep that hope and not feel pulled under more. So we're reducing hopelessness and helplessness. The coaching assisted in looking at different options, learning to be more accepting of expectations, helping me understand my strengths and how to move forward in the future. I needed someone to help me see through the fog. It was very beneficial and I am much happier. So this idea of happiness, overall well-being, improved quality of life. I was overwhelmed by all of the changes that came with COVID-19. I think my coach helped me to find strategies to adapt and to modify my response to it. I am more relaxed and my family can notice. So not only was this person seeing changes in themselves, but their family could see that they were changing as well. It greatly helped me take what can seem overwhelming goals and break them down into manageable steps and actions. So this is actually a really important part of wellness coaching, is this idea of sometimes people never start making changes because their changes seem so overwhelming. Their ultimate goals just seem too big. So wellness coaching, we kind of take it back a step and say, what's a small step forward? We don't have to be 1,000% all the time. We just need to take one step to get started. I think wellness coaching helped me to make concrete changes to my weekly schedule to make sure that I could achieve my health goals. So making changes in other aspects of their life so that they could become more well. And then I have been able to achieve more of a work-life balance the past 12 weeks than ever before. So that is pretty exciting, pretty powerful stuff. I also asked, just at the end of the survey, the post survey, other general feedback. Do you have any other general feedback about the program? And I'm going to brag a little bit here. We have gotten 0 negative feedback since I started the program. They either don't respond to this question or they respond positively. So hopefully we can keep that going. But I was going to share a couple of these comments with you all as well. Thank you very much for this program. The sessions with my coach were really helpful, challenging, and encouraging. I feel empowered to make better choices. Thank you. So that word empowered is very important to me. I love the word empowered because I never want a coach or a client to come to me and say like, oh, once I stop seeing you, I'm not going to be able to follow through on this. What I hope is that we're giving those clients the skills that they need to feel empowered to keep doing this after their coaching program has ended. I love my sessions. My coach is very motivating, listens well, and remembers info about me and my struggles, and is genuinely concerned for my overall well-being. I'm recommending everyone in my office sign up. I will say that after my first semester of coaching, I didn't even have to advertise the second semester. I had so many people who were interested in it just from having seen it opening in the fall and then other people telling them about it. So that's pretty exciting. My coach was very attentive and challenged me in ways I would rather not have been challenged. However, after rising to those challenges, I was glad I did. That's where wellness coaching is most effective, when a need is perceived and addressed, even when your client is reluctant to consider it. I thoroughly enjoyed and learned a great deal from wellness coaching. I feel like this type of coaching could be beneficial for absolutely everyone, and I feel exactly the same. And taking a fresh perspective on my life now feels possible thanks to the wellness coaching. So this general feedback that we're getting, I think, although the numbers are important and I will keep collecting those and I'll keep looking at other factors, this qualitative data is also something really important to share and track if you decide to start a coaching program yourself. So in review, we do have to begin to close the gap between education and action. And I believe that wellness coaching can play a vital role in that. Wellness coaching is showing tons of promise in the health and wellness field, and it's becoming a lot more prominent in programs across the country. Wellness coaching could be a vital piece of a comprehensive wellness coaching program reaching many at-risk populations. You want to be on the forefront of this profession. There are so many universities out there already offering this. You don't want to get left behind. I think there should be a wellness coaching program in every wellness facility that we have. So thank you so much. Do we have any questions? Do I have time to answer any questions?
Yeah, you've got roughly 2 or 3 minutes. You can answer questions. And so it's easier if people put questions in the chat for her to answer.
Oh, there's the chat. Let's see. Okay, so none yet. Yeah, so if you, in case anyone is wondering, I do have references here that I pulled those studies from. Oh, here's some questions. Thanks, Kim. So as far as where I got my certification, I got my preliminary CHC from UNCG Health Coaching Programs. There are a lot of programs out there to choose from, though. Again, some that are associated with universities, others that are private practice. One that I hear a lot of great things about is Well Coaches, And they do have fully online programs, so you can do them at your own pace, working full time and doing those programs online. And then once you get that certified health coach training, do 50 hours of coaching, you can sit on the national exam. How do you manage the A and B schedule with students? So the A and B schedule, so having that A week and B week, and I personally do 10 clients on A week, 10 clients on B week. I handle about 20 clients a semester. I did work with students back at Wake Forest University, and it is hard to keep them on schedule. Your A week and B week, it almost doesn't matter after the first couple of weeks, because you end up with a client in A week that needs to reschedule to B week. So I just pretty much have to keep a document that's tracking how many sessions they have. It's good to start with an A week and B week, but it all gets all mixed up. It does get a little bit convoluted. It takes a lot of organizing. So that's why if you do have multiple coaches, it's very important to have an administrator to handle those coaches. Prereqs before becoming certified. You either have to have some sort of associate's degree, and it does not have to be in a specific field, or a certain number of hours of professional work in any field. So they do not require that you have exercise science or, nursing or anything like that. Just some sort of professional work. And then, of course, if you want to sit on the national exam, you do have to get those 50 hours of coaching somehow. Why are we not offering this to students? So right now, I am the employee wellness coordinator, and the employee wellness stuff does not really integrate with student wellness stuff at OSU. So I cannot offer this to students right now. I would love to see our program grow. Again, I'm collecting this data to show that it works, to show like, hey, we need funding. I would love to be able to hire more coaches and expand this program for sure. The ACE certification. I looked into the ACE certification. It is not on the approved program list. I'm not dogging on it. I don't know anything about it really, other than it's not on that approved program list the last time I checked. And again, I highly recommend looking at programs on the approved program list, especially if you ever want to sit on that national exam. And that looks like those are all the questions we have. Does anyone have any more? Where is that list? So if you just Google NBC-HWC, you'll see their website pop up. And there's a tab at the top that'll say like become an approved program or approved program list. And it's a pretty extensive list, so there's a lot to choose from.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we are out of time. We have a program right on the back end of this that starts in 2 minutes. But Scarlett, if you can put your email in the chat, so if folks do have some additional questions, they can reach out to you directly.
Okay. And there you go.
All right, well,
thank you everyone who came and listened.
And thank you, Scarlett. We appreciate you. I'll leave it up for just another minute just to allow people to get her information if you need it. And then we'll say good afternoon to everybody. Stay dry if you're in the Oklahoma, Arkansas, South Kansas area.
Yucky here.
Yeah. All right. I think we will call that a day. Thank you, Scarlett. We appreciate you.
Thank you.